Daniel is joining me today
Hello.
to discuss the 1988 comedy horror film High Spirits.
And boy, oh boy, this movie is a mess.
Yes, but a fun mess. A cluster fun, if you will.
The film is directed by Neil Jordan, who also did Michael Collins' Interview with a Vampire, but he's also known for The Crying Game, which features a scene resembling, but not exactly like, this.
The film begins in Ireland with Peter Plunkett, played by Peter O'Toole, the owner of the dilapidated wreck of a castle turned hotel, who is arguing over the phone with an American that is threatening to foreclose on the castle.
I don't think that kind of language is necessary, Mr. Brogan. What you're saying is that if I don't come up with the money in 3 weeks, you will foreclose and take over Castle Plunkett.
After his eccentric mother interrupts him hanging himself, Plunkett is inspired to bring in revenue and save the castle by advertising the hotel as a haunted attraction.
We can promise you banshees, pukas, ghouls of all descriptions.
But there's one problem.
But there are no bloody ghosts here.
I know, but there will be. We'll invent them.
So Plunkett and his staff race about to get the castle and themselves ready for a group of American tourists headed their way who are expecting a real haunted castle experience.
At first glance, the film appears to be about the efforts of Plunkett and his really quirky Irish staff to save their castle and what hijinks they get into in the process. But with the introduction of the American tourists, the plot and focus of the film get muddy, fast. First, we got Malcolm Clay, played by Martin Ferrero, the lawyer gets eaten by the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, a parapsychologist who traveled with his wife Marge, played by Connie Booth, and 3 kids to Ireland, with the sole purpose of debunking the supposed ghost infestation at Castle Plunkett. Then we have Miranda, a sweet and attractive vamp played by Jennifer Tilly, who sets her sights on Brother Tony, played by Peter Gallagher, who was touring the Isle of the Saints before taking his final vows, but seems a bit shaky in his resolve. And finally we have Jack and Sharon Crawford, an unhappily married couple played by Steve Guttenberg and Beverly D'Angelo respectively. Their marriage issues are apparent right off the bat.
Next thing you know, you want to have sex.
After 2 disastrous attempts to scare their guests, Plunkett is confronted and confesses to his guests why they staged the ruse.
We did it because we love this place. Why should you Americans care if I lose my home?
We find out here that Mr. Brogan, the man who is wanting to foreclose on and take over Castle Plunkett, is Sharon's father. Gasping noise. Everyone, and I mean everyone, gangs up on Sharon, who admits to having come to Ireland to spy on Plunkett and his staff and report back to her father.
Daddy wants this place. He's always wanted it. He was born here. He hates the Plunketts.
Why?
Why not? Daddy hates most people.
So this is kind of interesting, right? Obviously, we'll be following this group of misfits and guests as they awaken real ghosts to save Castle Plunkett, right? Right?
Wrong. Peter O'Toole was the best part of this film, and I really wish it was more about him.
There is a God.
But unfortunately, we have to put up with this guy and his hunt for the supernatural, the contrived supernatural romance with Steve Guttenberg and Daryl Hannah, whatever this is between Liam Neeson and Beverly D'Angelo, whatever this is between Jennifer Tilly and Peter Gallagher, as well as the side plot of the ghost giving the guests a real scary time that doesn't go anywhere. Like most of this movie. High Spirits is a film that is trying to be a wacky, supernatural comedy romance, but problems arise right from the start as the movie becomes so cluttered with characters, side plots, and spooky happenings that it becomes a chore to sit through. The comedy and intended spooky atmosphere are constantly clashing with each other, and unlike Ghostbusters, the good one, it doesn't find a balance. There's a ton of padding in a movie that barely reaches the 90-minute mark from the guests and the ghost doing things just because. Wacky, unintentionally awkward character moments and special effects sequences that feel out of place.
Despite the wackiness of the writing and production, High Spirits is one of those ridiculous films from the 80s that one simply loves because it is so freaking off the wall. And it does hold a lot of nostalgia for Daniel and I, as we watched it quite often with our older brothers growing up. One of the scenes that I remembered the most from watching it as a kid was when Liam Neeson's ghost, Martin Brogan, appears in the tub/shower behind Sharon. I didn't remember much about the scene apart from his initial rising from the water, and I wasn't sure why that shot would always pop up in my head years after I'd last seen it. That is until I watched it again recently. I guess my childhood self had a huge crush on 30-something-year-old Liam Neeson, and still does. I mean, come on.
I always remember the boy being pulled into the pop-up theater that somehow had real ocean waves and sea monsters. Again, this is a cool sequence that just happens and has no bearing on the rest of the film. Seriously, is there anything these ghosts can't do?
Actually, now that you mention that, there are absolutely no consistent rules for the ghosts at Castle Plunket. Let's just hop about the film and see what we find, shall we? Poor, miserable, unhappy, sexless Jack gets drunk on what appears to be Irish moonshine and somehow interrupts the 200-year-old nightly murder of Mary Plunkett by her new husband, Martin Brogan, breaking the spell on just her because,
Your love broke the chain, crossed the boundary.
Oh my God! Hold on! You can't depend on me!
Oh, it wasn't love then.
Hold Mary. We hardly know each other.
Jack attempts to commit suicide with Sharon's Valium, but Mary appears and, you know, I'm not exactly sure what she does here. She reaches through the mirror and uses her ghost magic to unscrew the lids. Does she want him to commit suicide or, whatever, it was pointless anyway as he takes Sharon's Valium B complex instead and passes out.
Plunkett Sr. appears and says the ghosts are upset that the castle might be moved to Malibu.
No respectable ghost would live in California.
And the ghosts immediately change the weather, strip the fleeing tourists of their clothes, and destroy their car. They can also possess horses and make them talk.
Hey, would your name conceivably be Jack?
They can also manipulate lightning and electrocute people, like Mr. Clay here when he tries to leave with his family.
Yes, I think we could stay one more night.
Male ghosts can give back rubs and touch the ladies they want to hook up with, but lady ghosts can't be touched or touch dudes who break their spell with their love and... Oh, and ghosts can also... scalp.
What's scalping?
This is scalping.
That's nasty.
Shut up!
Shut up! Shh. The ghosts also infest TV workout programs, mess with household appliances and decor, set the pants of a horny wannabe priest on fire, and then a horde of Jawa nuns rush him and his amore into the pool.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Not even the whiting are safe from their ectoplasmic clutches.
I don't hear anything, do you? Don't you just love Whitey?
The staff and guests are being haunted left and right by every means under the sun, with ghosts literally climbing from their tombs to huddle around poor drunken Plunkett here, and what is Jack doing? Oh, he's studying the Book of High Spirits so he can figure out how to get ghosts laid. Ew!
The film wraps up on All Hallows Eve, or Halloween, where for some reason the ghosts have the ability to gain a solid form, but can selectively still pass through walls. Okay, whatever. But there's a rule. No tupping.
A ghost may not tup with a human. So this means a ghost cannot make love with a human being. Oh my God.
Because to tup with a ghost is to tup with the grave.
Did we just tup?
No, but it's not too far off.
Good gosh, it's been so long since this man had sex, he's forgotten what it is! And obviously, the best way to avoid tupping is to get drunk and lay on the bed while getting drunk. And making out while laying on the bed while drunk. These are totally tupping safe activities, freaking idiots!
While this we can't tup, oh darn we're tupping is going on, everyone else is drinking and hunting for ghosts. This should be a thing, getting drunk and hunting for ghosts with the Irish. That sounds like a good time, why isn't this the movie? But from the bog, pond, body of water, whatever it is, rises the tour bus driven by Martin, who begins chasing the group through the woods trying to capture Sharon because he loves her.
Sharon, I love thee! And tonight's bogey night! Oh, St. Hooks, my gold ring win!
Sharon, this isn't a joke anymore!
You know what else isn't a joke, Daniel? This.
Mary, what's happened?
By golly, Jack, you tupped her to death! As Jack tries to run away from his wham bam thank you ma'am, Martin crashes into the castle and is thrown from the bus, landing on Jack and Peeps, just watch this.
Bollocks!
I don't know why, but this part is so freaking funny!
Moving on.
Wait, just one more time.
I think we're long past the point where the ghost world began making sense in the film, but this next part is a real doozy. Mary, desperate for Jack to love and accept her even though she isn't beautiful anymore, pulls him in for a crazy long kiss while Sharon chases Martin through the castle. Mary is somehow rejuvenated by this forced kiss. her beauty restored to her, just as Sharon goes in for a snuggle with Martin and plummets through the window to her death and... Wait, what?
Hold up.
She's alive.
Alive?
Like
legit
alive.
alive?
How did this happen? Please explain, movie.
I give up. Nothing makes sense. Why did friggin' pervert Jack have to only focus on the tupping with a ghost section of that dagblastic book? The whole All Hallows Eve mortal body swapping thing would have been great to know in advance. And with this, the movie comes to an end. Malcolm Clay has his evidence of a paranormal presence at Castle Plunket and is going to spread the word. The wannabe priest ends up with the vamp because...
I'm only human.
The mortgage issue with Sharon's father is magically resolved. No one questions why Sharon and Jack have not returned from their second honeymoon, or why Sharon is dead and still able to curse a living. And Sharon and Martin, Jack and Mary live happily ever after. And that's High Spirits in a Bohookie Shell. It's a high-energy, low-energy, whiplash-fueled, spooky, scary, creepy film that is absolutely not scary in the slightest.
Boy, oh boy, this script needed a fresh set of eyes to look at it. There's a promising movie buried underneath all the, well, mess, but it couldn't find a balance between the spooky and the comedic, and with too many characters and way too much going on, High Spirits is doomed to remain the lesser known and probably the worst film from Neil Jordan. But to be fair, Jordan stated that the film was taken away from him in editing, and he stated that the real version is locked away somewhere. Based on the final result, I'm not surprised if something like that happened, but I can't see this getting a proper release anytime soon as I don't see any demand for it.
All that aside, here is why you should watch this movie. Watch it for the nostalgia. Watch it for the goofy ghosts and 80s nonsense. Watch it for 30-something Liam Neeson. Watch it for the one-liners like these.
Not mine, you dolt. Yours.
We'll get better, I do assure you. You're a ghost, I'm an American. It would never work out.
And finally, watch it for Peter O'Toole, who is a gem of an actor even in this mess.